Welcome back to the video blog. Adam Daniel Mezei is my name. AdamDanielMezei.com. Thanks again for watching. First day of August here in Toronto, and the weather is just where I like it to be. So, the Emmy Award-winning television series Mad Men, starring Jon Hamm, St. Louis's Jon Hamm, who plays Don Draper. And I'm going through season 4 of that particular series. I'm almost done. I'm at the penultimate episode of the series. I absolutely love that show, like a lot of people do, obviously, because the writing is just stellar and superb. But I thought what we talk about today is something that people don't think about, and maybe just a couple of words about the actual writing and how people do that, how they actually construct that on that show, the writers of that show. So, Matt Weiner, of course, who's the creator of that show. So the first thing to talk about is Don Draper as a character. And as I'm sitting there and watching the various episodes, I'm catching up with them on Netflix. And for those of you who don't know, all 4 seasons are available on Netflix. Is Don Draper a character of the 21st century? You know, I think about just like expense account cutbacks, the economy being what it is, basically. For example, technology, new technology, the kind of stuff that you get glimpses of in Mad Men. For example, the dictaphones and the recording devices. Now we have higher caliber stuff. Smartphones, email, stuff like that. And not to mention that, but also the deleterious health effects from over-smoking or over-drinking. Not to mention sexually transmitted diseases, which is something that those guys should probably think about, you know, with the way that they just have random sex with basically anybody in the office. Is Don Draper, and do you know Don Draper's in 2011, and how would they actually write that series? And would it be as interesting as if it were set in the modern time, because of the things like I just described that would inevitably create some kind of limits or obstacles or blockages to the characterization of Don Draper? He's definitely a product of his time, the post-war period, the giddiness, the happiness, the profligacy, the spendthrift nature of it all, just the come what may, fancy freedom of it. And so, as I'm sitting there, I always go, what if we were to adapt every episode per episode for the modern era and structure it that way? Would it actually play the same way? Would people like it the same way? Again, hard to say, because people have gotten used to Don Draper over 4 seasons being the way that he is, set in the time period that he's in. Those are loud, those, whatever you call them, crickets. I have to find out what those are called. They just throw me off. But that was one thing. And then the writing of Mad Men, which I find to be, in the 4th season, to be just like, I'm so in awe of it. I love the way that it's structured. Chaos follows controversy. It's like a sine curve or a cosine curve in trigonometry. It's just up and down. Just when you think something's getting great, another thing slams down on the protagonist, whether it's Roger, Don, or whether it's Joni, or whether it's Pete, or any of the characters that are in that film. That are in that series. It's just unbelievable how they map it all out on a wall, and they can look at it up on the wall, and it's like a time frame, like you can see, like they basically say, it's been too long since something bad's happened, and then they just literally pull the rug out from under the characters. And that's what people love, because it's conflict, because it's real life, and it really teaches you a thing about drafting conflict and writing conflict. Conflict being the thing that propels stories along, and I think that's another reason why people just have the intuitive gut reaction of saying things like, I love Mad Men. Because that's what you notice when I post little sort of links up on Facebook, for instance, or I make mentions on Twitter. Everybody comes back and says, great show. Well, that's the reason why it's a great show. Because it sort of delves very deeply into the psyche of the human character in terms of conflict and what moves stories along a path. So that's like another reason why Mad Men's great. I can't wait to get to the last episode. I just know it's going to be arresting. It's going to be, heart-catching and breathless, and all of those great things that the writers of that series have mastered in their time. And if you haven't seen any episodes of Mad Men, it's one of the series that I really think you shouldn't miss, because it will cause you to think about your life in a really interesting sort of a way. Don Draper is a spectacularly drafted character. It's almost like Tony Soprano. You can't put him in any other movie without thinking of Jon Hamm as Don Draper. How is he going to get around this in his career? Other actors have done it before him, naturally, that have played roles in television series, but I love to see how Jon Hamm's career arc is going to go from this point onward. Thanks again for watching, and catch you again very soon.